deliver the welcome address. Please join me in welcoming Dr. P. Sridharan, Professor and Head, Department of International Business, School of Management, Pondicherry University. With 32 years of teaching and research experience in international finance, banking, and insurance, he has guided 12 PhD scholars, published 65 research articles, and served as head of the department from 2013 to 2016, during which his revised MBA International Business curriculum won the Best Curriculum in South India Award in 2015. Please join me in welcoming Dr. P. Sridharan to the podium.
A very good morning to one and all present here. At the outset, I extend a warm welcome to all the dignitaries, faculty members, research scholars, and student friends. And I am extremely happy to welcome all of you on this occasion of conducting an international conference on global business, manufacturing, sustainability, and innovation, a cross-border perspectives and opportunities in association with DAT India. And I am extremely happy to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, but he is joining with us online very soon. And he is the one behind conducting this type of events all over the campus. And he has been instrumental and guiding light to the department also. And he has been extending his support in all aspects, including financial support to convene this international conference today. And on behalf of the Department of International Business, I am wholeheartedly welcoming our Vice Chancellor on this occasion. I welcome you, sir. Next, we feel truly privileged to welcome Ms. Pallavi Shastri, Senior Vice President, Human Resources, Bosch India, as our chief guest today, and she is going to deliver the chief guest address on this occasion. I welcome you, madam, on behalf of the department. I have great pleasure to welcome you, madam. Then we are equally delighted to welcome Mr. Mallikarjuna, a Regional Director, Indo-German Trade and Commerce, Chennai, as our guest of honor today. Sir, your perspectives on Indo-German business relations and trade opportunities will be immensely beneficial to our students. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of the department. And we also extend our hearty welcome to Professor P. Nadarajan, Director, Culture and Cultural Relations, and Dean, School of Management, Pondicherry University, for his constant support and encouragement to the Department of International Business. Sir, I welcome you, sir, to extend your special address on this occasion. Next, a special welcome to Ms. Antoinette Stephen, Regional Officer, DAD Information Center, Chennai, and Mr. Jairam, Deputy General Manager, Business Standard, Chennai. And on this occasion, we have two research ambassadors of DAD India is also with us. One is Dr. Panchacharam Mariappan, Professor, IIT Tirupati. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of the department. And another, research ambassador of DAD is Dr. Bhushan Sudhagar, none other than my colleague, and is the convener of this international conference, Dr. Bhushan Sudhagar, Professor and Research Ambassador of DAD. And I welcome all the dignitaries. In addition to that, the most important people are our students, and all our students have extended their support, and they are with us on this occasion. I welcome you one and all on this occasion of conducting this one-day conference on this global business, manufacturing, sustainability and innovation, cross-border perspectives and opportunities. I welcome you all once again. Thank you.
It is my privilege, honor to, once again join my hands with our dear HOD, and ma'am, we would like to welcome you. Madam Pallavi ma'am, with one word, she said she's coming to Pondicherry. She likes Pondicherry, and being as a Vice President, HR, Bosch, so busy with all her engagements. She was performing a puja yesterday with all that she completed, and she's able to catch a flight, and she's able to be here with us. Ma'am, thank you once again. We would like to honor you if you can come on here. I request our director, Professor Natarajan sir, to come forward and give that. I have a due respect to invite Professor Dr. P. Prakash Babu sir, who is our Vice Chancellor and also the Chief Patron for this one-day international conference on global business, manufacturing, sustainability and innovation, cross-border perspectives and opportunities. So before I introduce as our Honorable Vice Chancellor, I would like to say a few words. He's a Senior Professor of Biotechnology and Bioinformatics from the University of Hyderabad. He has completed his PhD there, followed by done his postdoctoral training in Japan and United Kingdom. His research spans across the areas of cerebral stroke, cerebral malaria, and brain tumors, with over 150 plus publications, citations across 4,500, and an H indexes of about 40. He has guided about 25 doctoral scholars, and many are pursuing currently. He has previously served as a Vice Chancellor of Yogi Vemana University, as a Pro-Vice Chancellor of University of Hyderabad, Dean of School of Medical Sciences. He is a Fellow of the Royal Society of Biology. He has held leadership roles in several international conferences. Let us all join together. Please put your hands in welcoming Professor P. Prakash Babu sir to deliver the presidential address.
Esteemed Chief Guest for this conference, Ms. Pallavi Shastri, Senior Vice President, HR, Bosch India. Guest of Honor, Mr. Mallikarjuna, Regional Director, Indo-German Trade. DAD India, Representative Ms. Antoinette Stephen, Regional Officer, DAD, Information Center, Chennai, and the entire DAD New Delhi team for their valuable support and collaboration. Mr. Sharwan Kumar, Deputy Manager, PPC, BMW Group. Mr. Jairam S., Deputy General Manager, Business Climate, Chennai. All other distinguished guests, eminent speakers joining us from India and Germany. Representatives of DAD India, my colleagues, Professor Natarajan, Director and Dean, School of Management. Mr. Dr. P. Sudhakaran, Sridharan, HOD, International Business Management, coordinators of this conference, Dr. Bhushan Sudhakar, faculty members, business scholars, these students and other participants of this journey. A warm welcome to all of you to Pondicherry University. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of this virtual at this international conference organized by the Department of International Business, School of Management, in collaboration with the DAD India. I welcome you all to this international conference on global business, manufacturing, sustainability, and innovation, cross-border perspectives and opportunities. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the Department of International Business for taking this initiative to bring together academia, industry, and international institutions on a common platform. Pondicherry University has always believed that a university should not remain confined within the boundaries of its campus. A university must connect with society, industry, and the world. It must create opportunities for its students and faculty to learn from different cultures, different economies, and different perspectives. Pondicherry University has been continuously strengthening its international orientation, academia partnership, research collaborations, and industry linkages. I am particularly pleased to see the Department of International Business contributing actively to this vision. The relevance of today's theme, the theme of this conference, global business, manufacturing, sustainability, and innovation, cross-border perspectives, and also the opportunities, is extremely relevant to the world in which we live today. Business today does not operate within geographical boundaries. A product may be designed in one country, manufactured in another country, assembled in different country, supported through the technology from a third world country, and consumers are across the several continents. A disruption in one of the parts of the world can affect up the chains, manufacturing employment, and markets thousands of kilometers away. We have therefore entered an era where global business is interconnected, manufacturing is becoming increasingly intelligent, sustainability is becoming a necessity rather than a choice, and innovation has become the key to competitiveness. For our MBA students, this transformation presents both a challenge and a tremendous opportunity. The managers of tomorrow must understand not only markets and the finances, but also the technology, sustainability, artificial intelligence, supply chains, geographical cultural diversity, and cross-border collaboration. They must learn to ask not only how do we do business, but also how do we do business responsibly, sustainably, and innovatively in a globally connected world. Germany and India, a meaningful connection. In this context, the presence and participation of our distinguished speakers from Germany is particularly significant. Germany has long been recognized for its strength in advanced manufacturing, engineering, technology, innovation, sustainability, and industrial excellence. India, on the other hand, is witnessing rapid growth in manufacturing, digital transformation, entrepreneurship, infrastructure, and innovation. The relation between India and Germany, therefore, offers enormous possibilities for knowledge exchange, technology collaboration, research education, manufacturing partnership, and sustainable development. For our students of international business, understanding such international relationship is not merely theoretical. It is preparation for the world in which they will build their careers. A special word of appreciation to the DAD. It's a place to record my sincere appreciation to DAD, the German Academia Exchange Service, for its continued commitment to strengthening academic and research partner relationship between Germany and India. As I was a DAD fellow with Heidelberg University, I know very well how this works and how much it is useful for the exchange of the research and the ideas between these both the countries. I particularly appreciate the efforts that have helped to create platforms such as today's conference, where students, faculty, researchers, and industry professionals can directly interact with international experts. Such a collaboration helps our young people understand that knowledge has no boundaries, that academic partnerships can become the foundation for long-term international relationships. We are particularly honored to have distinguished representatives from German academic and business community who are joining us in this hybrid conference. Mr. Patrick Weisman, Director Manufacturing Post-Additive Solutions, Center for Nuremberg, Professor Dr. Cornelius Hastad, Leuven University, Professor Emeritus, Dr. Rajneesh Tiwari, Professor Business Administration and Global Innovations, Christchurch University of Applied Sciences, Hamburg, Professor Dick Holbrook, and Miss Nikila Raghavan, School of Business, Economic and Society, University of Erlangen-Nuremberg. I extend my heartfelt welcome and gratitude to all our distinguished speakers and experts who have taken time from their busy schedule to be with us. Your experiences, ideas, perspectives are an investment in the intellectual growth of our students. Dear students, I would like to leave you a one thought. The future will belong not simply to those who possess a degree, but to those who possess the ability to continuously learn, adapt, collaborate, and innovate. The world of work is challenging rapidly. Artificial intelligence is changing the jobs. Artificial automation is changing the manufacturing. Digitalization is changing the business models. Sustainability is changing the consumer expectations. And globalization is changing the skills that organizations require. Therefore, I encourage you to use today's conference not merely as another academic event, but as an opportunity to listen, question, interact, and build relationships. Perhaps one conversation you have today may influence your career tomorrow. Perhaps one idea you hear today may become the foundation for your research. That is the true value of a university conference. I hope that today's deliberations will generate new ideas, new collaborations, new research possibilities, and new opportunities for our students and faculty. Let this conference remind us the future of business will not be defined by the borders, but by ability towards a future that is globally connected, technologically innovative, environmentally sustainable, and human-centered. With these thoughts, I extend my very best wishes for the successful deliberations of this international conference. I wish the conference very successful, and I hope that it becomes the beginning of many more meaningful India-Germany academic and industrial collaborations. Thank you for a strong and successful Indo-German partnership. So thank you all, and once again, congratulations for the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that presidential address. So you yourself a DAD fellow, we are mistaken, we didn't have the data. So wonderful, I think you should be the brand ambassador for this conference too. At the same time, in your speech, you underlined that how important is sustainability today, that too with manufacturing and innovation. You have underlined innovation, especially the students who have got innovation. In the Pondicherry University, we have different innovation clubs. So at the same time, the future belongs to those who have ability, who have skill, who have innovation. So the future belongs to all of them. Thank you, sir, for highlighting, and thank you for gracing this occasion. Thank you for your valuable time. Let us all put our hands together once again to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor. Thank you, sir. As we move on, we have a distinguished guest, and the chief guest of this one-day international seminar, Ms. Pallavi Shastri, Senior Vice President, Human Resource, Bosch, India. Madam has been educated from Symbiosis, and she's also a postgraduate from Annamalai University. Otherwise, she has done her MBA. How many of you know that Indo-German offers a PGDBA? So Madam has been an MBA during the year 95-97. She has done her PGDBA, and then she's also basically a physics student from Bangalore University, and then my math experience at Bosch. And she was currently the Bosch Senior Vice President, Human Resources from the past 1.5 years, located in Bangalore. And she was, before she was Vice President, Head of Human Resources for the same. And then she was with TVS as a Vice President HR, for 1 year, 2021 to 2022. Before that, she was the Director, Human Resources, Eli Lilly. I'm sure this particular brand you are aware of. She is the Head Human Resources there at Eli Lilly. Otherwise, she was, again, General Manager of Bosch Human Resources for the country during the year March 2019 to 20. So look at a person with the General Manager, with Vice President HR. I think Madam is the book of human resources. Please put your hands together in welcoming Ma'am to deliver the chief guest address.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, that's very low energy. And I hope at the end of the 20 minutes that I talk, the energy will be a little bit better. First of all, thank you very much to the distinguished members of the Pondicherry University for having me here. Sirs who are sitting at the front row here, and also my colleagues who have joined me as a part of this entire event. and dear next workforce of the future. I hope to speak to you about a very important topic called the future of work. When Dr. Bhushan invited me for this event, we discussed what is it that would be interesting for the people like you who are at the threshold of joining the workforce, not just in India but globally. And that's when we said, let's talk about how does the workforce of the future look like and what is it evolving into. And I hope this adds some bit of thought into what you may be thinking for your own careers ahead and planning for the same. Just waiting for the slides to come up. Yeah. So while it comes up, perhaps let me give you an outline of what I want to talk to you all about. My wish is to talk to you all about, as I said, the future of work. Why is it evolving? What is happening because of it? And how should we, you and I, respond to it in our respective careers? So the speaker before me already spoke about quite a few changes in the ecosystem. Can somebody say what are the two major changes that you see in your ecosystem which may impact your careers in the future? Anybody in the audience? Impact of AI, fantastic. What else? Sustainability, super. What else? Innovation. Okay, I see everything coming from the header of today's conference. Yeah, AI is something which is absolutely impacting all of us, not just in our own lives, but also in the workplaces. And I believe you would see this in the way the IT and IT services or the high-tech technology industry is shaping itself. Sustainability, of course, thanks to the geopolitical situation, the wars, the tariff wars, not just the physical wars that's happening. It is affecting our supply chain lines, our logistics, our fuel prices, and everything that we use in our daily life. And because of which, not just in our daily lives, we look at reduce, reuse, or recycle, but all organizations across the world are doing this. How do we reduce the cost of the product? How do we innovate? And that's where innovation comes in. How do we look at innovative inputs for our products so that we continue to work in a circular economy for improving the sustainability and therefore the longevity of Earth on life on Earth? So how does this impact the work that we do in our workforce? It comes up. So maybe you can just go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So I think all of you already gave me the header of this particular slide, which says technological acceleration, geopolitical realignment, the shifts that's happening, and of course the sustainability imperative that was spoken about, which is definitely affecting the way we work. What I didn't hear is the demographic shifts. What do I mean by demographic shifts? There are countries in the world which are aging, and there are countries relative like us who are still young. And what does this mean? It means the buyers are there in the markets where we still have a relatively younger population. It also means the talents of tomorrow are also in these countries. So when organizations like mine think about where do we go next, we always look at where are the markets, where do we get our talent from, and hence where should our businesses move. And this is also evolving, this is also impacting the evolution of work. Some of you, as a part of your management studies, would have studied the famous S-curve. Has anybody seen this before? Yes? No? No. Okay, so let me explain this. As a part of your product life cycle discussions, you would have studied about how a product goes through a growth phase, a maturity phase, and then a decline phase. So also with businesses and also our careers. So if you see on the x-axis, you have time. On the y-axis, you have value created by work. And the blue line that you see, the blue S line that you see, is basically how the evolution of work has happened over a period of time. In the past, over a long period of time, work was built around fairly stable jobs, a job, a function, an organization, and a location. Organizations defined our roles. Our role defined our responsibilities, and our location defined where we worked. And this was how value was created. But if you see with the advent of technology, with the advent of innovations, with the advent of demographic shifts, and also with the geopolitical situation, this curve has now changed. And that's where the green curve comes in. What's important for you all is unless we adapt ourselves to the green curve, we go into a decline stage of the first S1 curve, which is your blue curve. And the intersection of this two is where I believe all of you will get into the workforce. And therefore, an understanding of how the ecosystem that we operate in, because none of us can work in silos, and we are greatly influenced by the technological shifts, the demographic changes, the geopolitical situation, and sustainability requirements as it defines the way work is done. Let me give you an example. A car in the past was known for what was under the hood. What's the kind of an engine? And I have my BMW colleague sitting here. What is the mileage? Kitna mileage dega? This was the very famous ad of Maruti, if you all recollect. How much mileage will this vehicle give? But now if you see, the entire conversation has shifted into ADAS, into AI, into software-defined vehicles. So it's not that the product has changed drastically, but the value that is defined or delivered by the product has changed. That means the way the work is being done to manufacture this particular product has changed. So it's no more the focus of mechanical topics, which goes under the hood, but rather the UX topics and the AI-driven topics that you as a user of the car would feel within the car, on your cockpit. How does the music get played? Does it have a connectivity to your mobile? So on and so forth. So this is the value shift which is being seen even in simple products, or rather long-driven products like cars in our ecosystem. That is where the S-curve changes for the car. So those of us in the mobility industry who do not reinvent ourselves with the new green curve could look at a gradual decline over a period of time. And this is what you see in major countries like Germany happening right now. Unless they align themselves to the new S-curve of moving up the software-defined vehicles, greater UX, EV, and batteries, the possibility of having a stagnation and therefore a decline in the future years is but staring at us on the wall. Let me give you another example of an industry. How many of you have heard of Global Capability Centers? GCCs as its short form? Okay, I worked in one. Eli Lilly was a global capability center for a large pharmaceutical company, Eli Lilly, which is 145 years old. So now India is a host to more than 2,000 global capability centers across the country, spreading across multiple industries, right from pharma to engineering to banking to even legal. In the past, India was seen as a cost advantage. So industries would shift to India because we had a large population, so demographic shift. Low cost because we had so much of population exchange rate impact, and then you would have all these GCCs come up, which were more like an extended workbench or a back office. That's how the BPO industry started, which graduated into the GCC industry. But now we see a very definitive shift because the markets are here and people and talent is here. So we see a shift from the capability centers looking at doing execution-related work to actually engineering and innovation-related work. So this is again a new definition of the S-curve for the industry at large. So question to you all is, where are you on this S-curve and what do you all need to do? I leave you with that question at this point in time. So moving on to the next slide. So when this S-curve shifts, what is actually happening in our enterprises? We have 5 major topics that's coming about. Some of them you already know, maybe the 4th one. How many of you all have heard of agentic workforce? I'm glad to see some hands in the room. So agentic workforce, let me talk about that first. Now I don't just work with team members who are human beings, but I also work with team members who are AI agents. Because it's far easier to get a lot of work done through an AI agent because they don't take leave. They don't have issues around time and leaving work at a particular time. They don't get tired. There are no mental and wellness issues. They don't have issues around productivity, and they execute jobs flawlessly. So if you look at the IT services or the IT industry or e-commerce or banking, there's a lot of AI agentic work which is already being done, where the V&V cycle, which is the validation and verification cycle in software industry, already being done by AI agents. Yeah. So now let me move on to the first one, boundaryless. What do I mean by this? Like the previous speakers spoke about, you manufacture a product, but the product need not be completely manufactured in a particular country alone. You can have parts of it coming from across. But what does it mean for you and me? In the past, we had customers outside, we had suppliers outside the organization. You and I were working within the organization in a particular function. But now with AI agents, with gig workforce, with partnerships for small modules in a particular product landscape, we will have this entire topic moving in and out of the organization. So where is the boundary of your organization? Whom do I define as my team? I could have a product which is designed perhaps in Germany, manufactured in India, having modules provided by a partner sitting, say, in Singapore, or the UX being defined by, say, somebody in China. So my team members could consist of multiple sets of people and non-human beings across multiple zones without being a part of Bosch itself. And this is boundaryless. So think about that kind of a work situation that you would enter into. Where would you be? And to work in such a work environment, what is it that you need to build as a part of your capability? Then comes the multi-local. Very often, global is considered as the opposite of local. Now, this picture is changing. Due to the demographic shifts, there's a huge focus on what do I do and where do I do? And it's not for cost reduction or cost optimization. It's for having an optimum solution. Where are the best supply chains? Where are the best suppliers for a particular product? Where do I get the best support, best enablement for AI and UX? Where do I get the best designers? So you could have a product thought of in a particular region, but perhaps owned in a very different region. And this brings us to an environment which is a network of sorts, where you have something done in one particular country and something else done in India, something else done in Germany, something else done in US, maybe the financial house is in the gift city in Gujarat. You could have a multiple networks of organizations which is participating in delivering a product to a customer. So it's no more global where you have a headquarters and then you have local houses which take care of it, but rather equal partnerships, which means global and local or multi-local. So global is no more an opposite word of local. Moving on to distributed, this brings us to the next topic of distributed responsibilities and accountabilities. Schneider is a wonderful example. How many of you all have heard of Schneider Electric? Wonderful. Do you all know that it's a French company, but 80% of its board members are not French? They are situated across the world. They have their head of HR sitting out of Hong Kong, the head of manufacturing sitting somewhere in China, head of manufacturing sitting in US, and so on and so forth. They have 8 such hubs across the world. So they have distributed responsibilities across the world. So what does it mean for you and me? We can aspire for such roles, where we look at roles which can sit out of India or anywhere else in the world and be responsible for the whole of the world. So it need not mean that you have to move to a particular headquarter, because the concept of headquarter is now moving away. We may be a German company, but we may have distributed responsibilities across the globe. The best person wins, and the best capabilities win. So what is the kind of capabilities that you aspire to build in yourself to have a career where you have an influence and ability to look at the entire globe as your playground? Think about it. That brings me to the last topic, which is portfolio. So as of now, I understand all of you are MBA students, and I may be saying I'm an MBA finance, MBA marketing, or MBA HR. But the question is, it's not so much the function after having we discussed all this, but rather what's the portfolio of skills that you're building for yourself? What's the portfolio of experiences that you're building for yourselves which can hold you in good stead so that you can move to the next S-curve as and when it appears, because in one's lifetime in the past there was only one curve and then it progressed to maybe 2 S-curves. But in the future, the number of S-curves that come up in a lifetime of a professional would be far higher and far shorter. So what's the portfolio of skills that you're building for yourself as a part of your career, and what is it that you can offer as a part of your employability to the world at large? That's again a thought for you all. Moving on to the next slide, please. So this brings me to what is actually happening in our organizations. Since I have already touched on this, I will be a little faster here. I have given you examples of how we look at a particular product or a service to a customer or our audience in an external market. And this is how the future of work is also getting defined in organizations like mine. For example, we look at global business. We don't make products only for India, or we don't make products only for Germany. So when we look at global business, I have to think of how does a customer, say in China, look at the product that we are giving. Is it high quality, or is it medium performance, medium price, or low cost and high performance? So each of these countries have different requirements stemming from their own cultural background and their societal pressures. As an enterprise, how am I looking at this global business? And that's a part of how I will evolve my capabilities and my workforce capabilities. Moving on, this brings me to innovation. So what works in Germany need not work in India. In Germany, if we had to make a product in a dust-free environment and expect that the product will work in India, it will not. For example, let me take our Bosch washing machines. We have our household appliances. So in Germany, you don't have rats coming in. But in India, you will have all these cockroaches, rats infested in the areas that perhaps the washing machines or the dryers are being used. So when you have a product that works in Germany, you cannot just lift and shift it to an Indian context and expect it to work flawlessly. And then you have to make the changes in that product. Yeah? And that's a part of the small incremental shift that you'll make in product innovation. But look at a mixer grinder. I'm sure all of our homes, we have a mixer grinder, the Mixie as it's known. In the past, there was only Sumit Mixie. And in Germany, this is not really common. But if you take the Indian context, and if you have to enter every Indian household with a product, this is the first product that every Indian household will and surely have because of the kind of food that we prepare. We cannot live without our chutneys, without our masalas. Yeah? So if we do not have a product line which takes care of this particular requirement of an audience, then we are left far behind in our share of market in the business. And hence the Mixie, which was introduced mainly for the Indian market. So, and then you have topics around, say, sustainability. So all of you would have heard about the semiconductor war, which happened before the actual Russia and Russia-Ukraine wars. Yeah, semiconductor issues have been long drawn, which contain rare earth materials because of which you have a shortage. This is now driving multiple organizations and also country like ours to look at products which can have sustainability, where you do not use a product and then it's lost and it goes into scrap, but where can you recycle, reduce and reuse, because it reduces the cost of your product, it improves your longevity of the product, it ensures you have a larger share of market. Then coming to manufacturing. India is known as a manufacturing hub, but I would say it is not so much as manufacturing hub as much as it's a contract manufacturing hub. We need to move up the value chain if we have to really be recognized as a manufacturing country and also make money out of it. If we only do contract manufacturing, then our EBIT is only around 1 or 2%. But if we actually move up the value chain while combining innovation, global business requirements, and sustainability, that's where the money is. And that's what China did. They not only manufactured for their own country, but 50% of their capacity is devoted to the world, to the exports. while we do a lot of manufacturing for ourselves. And most of our manufacturing also includes a lot of assembly where we get parts from outside the country and then assemble it in-house, again raising the cost levels for our own country, which is another area that needs to be looked at to say, where is our human and AI or technology intervention coming in? Humans are expensive. Can they move up the value chain? While the regular, repeatable, reproducible work is taken care of by AI, by technology, by automation, by robotics. So that's a piece of work that will come in. Now, how does this all impact you and me? Going on to the next slide, please. Yeah, this is something that I would like to talk about in detail. So as you are on the threshold of a particular career that you want to have, your first S-curve possibly, I would encourage you all to look at this particular slide with an interest to say, what is your functional zone? Where is your deep expertise in? Yeah, but over here I would say, consider what's the depth of your topic. Saying I'm a finance expert or finance is my function does not work. What's your depth in it? And how do you relate it to the rest of your work? Considering what I've spoken so far across your network, across the network of organizations, global, distributed, and also AI. Project experience. What are the problems that you solve? It's not enough to say I study project management, but the question is, can you use your skill sets to solve unfamiliar problems, bring people together, and deliver an outcome? As I said, in a distributed kind of enterprise, your project can be across boundaries, across borders, across teams. So how do you manage with influence rather than with hierarchy? And that's important. So project management means what are the kind of problems you solve, not just managing a project. What's the kind of international exposure you are planning to get or you're gaining? And that's where the DAD comes in to say, can you look at an exchange student program to get this experience of having worked in different cultures early in your careers? Why is it important? It's important because any problem that needs to be solved is solved in a particular context. So how does the problem look? Whether it's in Germany, China, India, or Japan. Is it the same or is it different? Is the washing machine the same that you would use in all these countries, or is it going to be different? What's your context? What's the problem that you're solving? And hence comes to the leadership aspect. How do you lead people across multiple cultures, different demographics, different age groups, an aging population which you see in Europe and Japan versus a younger population that you would see in China and India. India is one of the youngest, by the way, and ASEAN countries are younger than us. That brings me to innovation. What's the kind of innovation that you have had? Have you used your cognitive ability to come up with innovative thoughts, innovative ideas, innovative products, innovative services? Because as we move forward with machine learning, the more the machine learns, the faster the AI becomes, and the more it will take away jobs that are repeatable, reproducible, and standardized. And the only edge that we will have, and the edge that we should bank on, is how do we move up the value chain using our cognitive abilities. And finally, the portfolio dimension. Where do you apply your expertise? Is it applicable across industries? Is it agnostic across businesses, across product lines? How valuable are you? Are you looking for employment? Are you looking for employability? I would urge you all to look for the second and not just employment. How do I keep myself valuable for the industry at large? Why should anybody look at me and invite me to come and work with them? Why should there be a pull for me in the industry? Think about that. So look at employability always and the portfolio that you can offer any employer in the market who's looking for talent. Moving on. So, somebody already spoke about continuous learning. The previous speaker spoke about continuous learning, but these are some things I believe will be important for you all as the next generation who are at the threshold of entering the workforce. Some topics that I would like to stress on here is that in India, we've always been looking at marks, academics, yeah, as something which is defining where we go, how far we go. But I would urge you all to here to look at number 6, which is creativity and critical thinking, and number 4, which is open to diverse roles and projects. How much do you use your creative brain? And that's where you can sharpen your cognitive ability. Anybody can read books, know how to crack an exam, get the marks in the exam. But if you look around you and see who are the people who have actually succeeded, are the people who are able to think in situations which are not the same as the past, which are ambiguous, where they need to really go back to first principles and have to depend on their own cognitive and creative thinking. So, how do you sharpen this? How can you look at yourself getting sharpened in this? That's where you can look at diverse roles and projects. The more experiences that we have in life, the more armory that goes back, the more weapons that go back into our armory. Look at building that portfolio. Look at experiences and not at number of years spent in a particular role. Keep looking at saying, am I adding value to my profile? Am I adding value to the company? When you step into your first roles. Look at roles which are very different from the past. Look at what is it that you're learning every year, and that's where your continuous learning comes. What are the skill sets that you're putting into your portfolio as you move forward in your career, so that you can look at multiple S-curves as you move forward. Good, thank you. So with that, let me summarize. I would encourage you all to look at not a CV, but a career card. A career card which talks about that your job title is fluid. You can work across multiple industries. Skill sets which are continuously changing. You're not looking at saying, I was a general manager HR, but rather saying, I have had skills around transformation of people. Yeah, I have done change management. So it's not so much the position, but the experiences that you have built in your career, which will stand you in good stead when the next S-curve comes, or you're ahead of the S-curve. Look at working anywhere. Don't restrict yourself only to your hometown. Look at these experiences that you can gather anywhere in India, anywhere in the world. That adds to your diversity and your experience portfolio, which will also add value to your employer. Because the markets could be anywhere in future, considering the demographic shifts, the geopolitical tensions, and these experiences will add your longevity to your employability. Then, of course, learn how you can be a part of a team which contains human and digital. I must say your generation uses digital far much more natively than my generation does. But this is something that you will also have to learn how to work with humans and not just digital. Not just with your laptops, but with human beings, because human emotions and relationships cannot be replaced by digital. And that's where the value also comes in for your cognitive ability and your creative thinking. Of course, look at non-linear careers. So I started my career in finance, by the way. I moved on to be a chief of staff for a plant head. Then I moved into HR. I have moved across HR, across multiple functions in HR, hiring, change management, compensation benefits. I moved from manufacturing to non-manufacturing to IT services. Then I left Bosch, moved into Eli Lilly, moved into TVS Motors, and now back at Bosch. So look at non-linear careers. People who grow in chimneys have very short longevity in terms of the employability. Unless you're a deep expert in a particular area, and then you have a longer life as long as that silo grows. And then I would end by saying, measure your impact as the value that you provide to any organization that you continue to work with. Don't look at it as the number of years that you spent with the organization, but the value that you're contributing to the organization and to yourself, and this assures you of longevity in your careers and movement at the head of any S-curve that you may face in your long careers. So wish you all a learning velocity, a big current assets that you build for yourself, and long careers ahead. Thank you very much.
The future of work belongs to those who keep learning, keep creating, and keep adapting. I think that is the key. Adaptation is the key. I think all of us Indians, we have adapted over a period of time. We all know from the Silk Road, the business, the trade used to be, but today you see the supply chains across. India is the best adapted country. Look at the Indians who went abroad. Is it not they adapted? So I think similar way, Dad creates an opportunity for each one of us to go. If you have that innovation, creativity with you, I think the country gives, or across the globe gives an opportunity for each one of us. The future of work, you talked about career card, madam, cognitive versus critical and creative thinking. Employment versus employability. I think one underlining point in front of our HOD and our Dean, let me admit that you have given us a thought to change our syllabus. That is about FPGLIP, that is functional, project, global, leadership, and innovation. So these things, project, these things I think we will, in the next curriculum, we will include all of this into a curriculum. By that it will fetch all the budding managers in the future. Thank you very much, ma'am, for the wonderful thought process, what you have put forth as a chief guest for this one-day international seminar. Thank you very much once again.
For the guest of honor address, please welcome Mr. Mallikarjuna S., Regional Director, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, Chennai.
I would like to thank the management of School of Management for Pondicherry, Pondicherry for inviting me to be the guest of honor, and also Dad for giving me this opportunity to address all of you. It's a pleasure. So basically, I am the Regional Director for Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. So my role is to facilitate bilateral trade between India and Germany. So as you know, we have close to 2,000 German companies in India. That is German and Indo-German, the joint venture companies in India. So in the region, especially the region I handle is Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. We have close to around 370 companies. In that, around 100 German companies are there. Indian joint venture and German companies. So coming to basically my presentation, I'll be talking a little bit on statistics, basically on FDI, GDP, inflation. I'm sure you're all management students. You know this jargon is very important because this is what basically the future of our in terms of investment, in terms of growth of this country, where all you people need employment, where you find employment in these are the areas. So coming to the Indian economy, we are in very sweet spot. Despite of the challenges which have across the world, could be the war and various other events, Corona happened, and later on we have moved away from that. So in spite of that, we are going through the most unprecedented transformation. I will tell you the reason why I am using this word. Because all the major, there are three major pillars of the economy, basically economical, social, political, and the fourth pillar is digitization pillar. Coming to Indian economy, as you know, basically we have driven by foreign direct investment, FDIs. I'll give some statistics. During the past, from 1947 to 2026, this is almost close to 80 years, FDI was close to 1.16 billion, trillion, sorry, 1,160 billion US dollars with 1.16 trillion dollars. So, but you should know in the last 10 years, we have about 582 billion dollars. It's almost 50% of the money has come in the last 10 years compared to the last 80 years. So this is where you are seeing the unprecedented transformation in terms of investment, which is coming. You are seeing in terms of the infrastructure, it could be the airports, could be the highways, or trains, in terms of renewable energies. So all these huge investments are coming in this sector. So this FDI has come from 162 countries across 61 sectors. You should know this. FDI is not just the money, it is the confidence the global world has in India about our country, our people, the entrepreneurship, our leadership and ability to promise and deliver. Coming to the statistics, in 23-24 we had a FDI of around 54 billion, and 24-25 we had around 50 billion, and last year 25-26 around 58 billion US dollars. So you can see the FDI is increasing, which is really a good sign, because when the FDI comes, the new projects come. Especially when I deal with the German companies, I can vouch for you that in my region, out of 100 German companies, more than 10 companies are having the second, third plant. So most of the German companies are all expanding, so there is a lot of opportunity for as students. We have a lot of opportunity in German companies here as well as in Germany. So coming to the inflation, as you know, we have hovered around 5 to 4.5%. So coming to the GDP has also been strong. We are hovering around 23-24, we are on 8.2%. Now we have come to around 7.7, and coming year will also be around the range of 7%. So you should know that today India is one of these. Last year, a year before, we used to say 5th largest economy. As per the recent data, we are the 6th largest economy in the world. So coming to the size, US is close to around 30 trillion economy. Then comes China. China is around 20-1. Then comes Germany. Earlier it was Japan. Now Germany has overtaken us. Has been ahead. Is always ahead. It is 5.45. Then comes Japan, which is 4.38, and then last year was India. Now it's UK, which is 4.2, and India is 4.15 trillion dollar economy. So looking at these statistics, you should understand we are a country of 1.4 billion. Coming to the per capita, for India, we are around $2,800. Coming to Germany, they are around $65,000. So you can see the difference. But you should also remember, see, Germany is a country with 8 crore people. We are a country with 140 crore people. But they are ahead of us in terms of GDP. It's around 5.4 trillion. But you should understand, when we have a population of around 1.4 billion, even we move per capita even by $500, you multiply by 1.4, it's going to be a big notch. That's where the Prime Minister's vision of Viksit Bharat and 2047, they have a target of close to around $20 trillion is going to come. So we see a lot of opportunities. As the recent BCG study, it says that kids who were born after 2000 in India, they will spend an average of 2.4 lakh US dollars in their lifetime. If you multiply by that into the $500 million of our population, that itself will give us close to $10 trillion. So then comes to the social pillar. Social pillar, as you know, we are one of the largest population in terms of on the earth with 1.4 billion, but the average age of we have 1 billion, which is less than 35 years. So you can see there is a lot of opportunities. Of course, the main question everybody asks is, you have a lot of population, you have young youth, but are they enough qualified so that industry can absorb? That is where we are coming up with the rural location, then house builder program which happens in Germany. A lot of people are being sent, and Indo-German Chamber of Commerce also has a lot of we do a lot of education institutes, trainings. We have Indo-German Training Center in Mumbai and Pune, where all the we take intake students for MBA. Also, we have 1 year executive management programs. All these are being trained so that they are ready for industry. So coming to the economy of Germany, you must be knowing that the inflation in Germany is close to around 2%. Earlier it was less, but after the pandemic and after the war, now the inflation is around 2%. But economic GDP wise, it's a developed economy. They are growing around 0.2% of GDP. But please don't forget, they are, in terms of size, they are $5.5 trillion economy. So that's where we see a lot of opportunities. Basically, coming to the bilateral trade between India and Germany, we have around 33 billion US dollars. So in this is basically for only goods, including services. Last year it was $50 billion between India and Germany. where 33 billion was for goods and services, basically IT and other support services was around 17 billion. So we are seeing a growth of from 33 to 36 billion over the years. In this, if you see, considering both, we are net same. Or else on the goods part, Germany we import more, we import around 2 to 3 billion more, and we export to that extent less. So there is a deficit of 3 billion. But putting both goods and services, we are 25, we are on par. But there is a lot of other opportunities. We can grow further. So of course, Germany has a lot of opportunities now, especially they are looking for young people in IT. Of course, on the renewable side, then on the machinery, because in Germany there is a lot of shortage of people who can work on machines. So this is where we find a lot of opportunities for young people who are working on the technical front, on the machinery front, on the software development front. We have seen, as the previous speaker, Ms. Pallavi, also spoken about GCC. We have seen a huge action of GCC being set up in Chennai, in Bangalore, Pune. Most of the German companies are all expanding their GCCs in India. It's because of the talent we have in terms of diverse ability to knowledge which we have. We can offer our services, and of course, cost competitiveness is there. It is, I won't say it is cheap, but it is very competitively priced, keeping in view of the cost of living in India. So this is where there is a lot of opportunities for each one of you. So coming to my last few sentences, basically I would like to tell you on few points which you should focus on. If you are looking at Germany as a career, please learn German. It's very important, or else you will not grow so fast. So at least I would recommend you to do at least A2 level, A1, A2, then B1. If you do, it's really good. So of course, once you move, then you can still do, but at least learn German at least 3 levels. It's very important. Then, of course, everybody aspires for very large companies. You can still look, but also look at companies that are middle-sized companies. In Germany, we say mid-sized companies where you have a lot of opportunities to grow. Then it is very important to keep yourself upgrading. You are in the long run. You are in a marathon. You are not in a sprint of 100 meters. So knowledge is very important. You need to keep upgrading yourself. Then only you will be able to compete with people. So this was a short overview of my view on the Indo-German trade, which are opportunities which we have, and how we can, how it will be useful for you for your future growth and development.
We have our captain and the dean director,
The most respected leader of our institution, Professor Prakash Babuji, and other dignitaries on the dais, especially Mrs. Pallavi Madam, who has given a very calm and composed talk with enriched information to our students, and the brand ambassador from Tirupati, and other faculty colleagues, and the DAD Regional Center Chennai and other places. Above all, research scholars and student friends. Good morning, one and all again. So first of all, I am very happy in appreciating the Department of International Business for taking up this initiative and create an awareness among the students about the DAD initiatives. Again, I am very delighted to see the title of it, the caption of the program, that is the Yearly Career Research Day. Yearly Career Research Day, and that a career research day is not only within our local or regional level, it is across the globe. That's a message you have to understand first. Wide career opportunities are prevailing now. Whatever may be the technological advancement that are taking up in the present day contest, when you are competent, you are able to compete anywhere and everywhere. So from that, to highlight that, this conference on global business, manufacturing, sustainability and innovation, cross-border and cross-border perspective and opportunities. I am not going to tell any specific techniques or methodology. Madam has covered everything in a very lucid manner, in a very quiet and calm and composed manner. Just I would like to throw you a light on
what are all the things available. But as a student, you have to have an in-depth knowledge within the period of 2 years. The purpose of organizing this conference is really to sharpen your proficiency. Proficiency on the domain, what you have selected now. So 2-year international business, 2-year LSCM means you have to have a thorough understanding about that. You have to fully immerse in that and see what are all the various opportunities. When you say global business, it is again a very, very big ocean. Or we can oceans are there. Ocean of knowledges are there in that on very many areas. Why we have to go global? That may be the question for many of you. So when you are going global, definitely we will be able to get plenty of opportunities, and thereby we will be able to come up in our life, not only as a selfish interest, but also we could contribute our best for the betterment of the nation, not only the nation, but also the global society. So from that perspective, you have to think and read. So earlier, as she said, we used to say, think locally, act globally. No? Now we have to think both. We have to think both a global perspective, then only we will be able to sustain or survive. Otherwise, we will be thrown out. Even when I am manufacturing a pen, I have to think from the global perspective. Manufacturing a plane, we have to see like that. And now India is also depending on our high-tech areas. Many countries like Japan, China, and all. From the global, why do go global means the global opportunities are wider. In a short way, this global business, when you look into the global business scope, it encompasses very many areas such as international trade, foreign investments, global manufacturing, global marketing, global finance, then international services, technology, global supply chain, human resources, and at the end, sustainability. That sustainability is omnipotent. It is for all. It is for all. Okay. So this is how the gamut of global business is very wider. Why I am saying this? You can easily enter into any one of these. No, so you have to choose that on which area you are interested. Are you interested really in international trade? Are you interested in foreign investment? And are you interested in global manufacturing? Again, global manufacturing, lot of wonders are happening now. And as you said correctly, China is the manufacturing hub in the true sense because they are manufacturing for the globe. So here my statement holds good. They think globally and act globally. So that's why they are able to manufacture the products in all possible ways with across all and able to get competitive cost advantage. They are able to gain competitive cost advantage. That is why they are able to penetrate into the global market easily and effectively and sustain over a period of years, really. When you see their growth, they are 20 years ahead us. 20 years ahead us. It all because of various lapses in our initiative. That is why being an academic institution and also the students, you have to have an understanding the importance of studying the curriculum in a very effective manner. So thereby, once when you are going with all proficiency, definitely you will be able to fill the gap and see that India is second to none. But unfortunately, many universities, I'm not talking about only IIM. IIMs are doing good, and that's why they are able to market their products across the globe easily. Universities, especially central universities like us, other than public universities. So the students, it's a very precious seat you are getting, but you have to make use of it. Don't think that you are getting MBA simply and go. So the global business, the courses what you have chosen now are really very promising. It will give you a promising career opportunity in the field of global business. Make use of it. This is one line about global business. And in the title of the conference, they mentioned global business, manufacturing, sustainability, and innovation. I perceive these four components into two categories. The global business and manufacturing is all about volume, variety, and the dimensions, capacity, and all. No? So the global business size is also increasing like anything. And similarly, manufacturing, again, different types of design, model, lean manufacturing, and everything is taking place. So technology disruptions are taking place. And coming to the second part of it, that is the sustainability and innovation, it is more about the qualitative side of it. So sustainability is the order of the day. Otherwise, no product can thrive in the market. No person can thrive in the market when you are not in a position to work for ensuring that. And that is why the clarion call has been given by UNESCO, and we have to work for sustainability. Especially corporate responses are very much essential for that. So from that perspective, I admire that the sustainability is the one of the adjective or the quality to be carried out by every individual while pursuing the course itself. Even from the school days itself, we have to have that orientation and attitude also, and thereby we will be working for that. And then another, the innovation, again, innovation is the gateway for growth, and the innovation will innovate or die, innovate or perish is the mantra. So when you are keeping in mind, automatically whatever we think, we will be thinking loudly. So that is why she has highlighted several factors, elements. In that, she highlighted about the critical thinking. So the critical thinking is very much essential. Critical thinking is not to criticize others. Criticism is separate. Critical thinking is thinking differently. So for which out-of-box thinking is very much essential. Such out-of-box thinking could be gained by a means of attending this workshop and conferences like that. During our days, I do not know what is the DAD, what is the program and all. But I am able to give opportunity to my son. So my son is also a DAD fellow, so in that way it is a fitting occasion for me to take part in that occasion. I do not whether the Bhushan knows it. Bhushan knows it very well because when I sent him to Germany, he did his masters there and successfully completed. He is working at Bangalore now, and he is an architect. So that way, once when we go global, it may be painful initially, but we will be having wide experience. We'll be having wide experience. But I missed that during my days, we are not at all having aware of it. So that's why now when they are at the younger age, at the age of 21, 22 itself, you are able to get into the idea and you can make use of it. So global business. And when you say global business, why to go global? Then only we will be able to sustain in the long run. And what all happening in the global scenario, that is also very much essential. That is what is currently happening in the global scenario. That has also covered by her then and there. So anyhow, I can add my own perception in that. That's it. But the issues and the problems or points are the same almost. So here when we look into the global business, why the global business or whether the global business is always rosy? No. It has a lot of hardship situations. It creates a lot of constraints. And constraints, opportunities are there. At the same time, constraints should also be there. So we have to manage it. So for which, what kind of qualities you have to have? You have to have the quality of the project management approach, and thereby you will be able to manage the constraints very well. Once when you are able to manage the constraints very well, you can thrive anywhere and everywhere. So that is why, again, this point also, whatever I have noted, most of the points Madam given in a very lucrative way in the form of a slide. So project management approach. From my perception, that is one of the main lacuna for India's 20 years lapse in growth compared to developed nations. Now, after realizing all this, India is vigorously taking up steps to march ahead and see that we have to become a global hub. Okay, that is why now even in the manufacturing, among the top 5 countries, India is the 5th country. No? First China, followed by US, Japan, Germany, and India. And similarly, in terms of sustainability, just I find out who are the best in sustainability. Again, Germany is there. So it's Germany, Switzerland, Denmark, they are all working for sustainability. That means when they are concentrating on business, global business, they are not only doing it for the sake of making money and becoming the richest country in the world. No. At the same time, they are working for preserving the environment, planet, society, people. So from that perspective, they are working, and that's how the corporate goals and corporate goals are being highlighted towards the ESG methodology. Even while reporting in the finance field, while doing a financial reporting, the corporate financial reporting should be inclined towards ESG, environmental, societal, and governance related. Thereby, the corporates will work for fulfilling the interest of all the stakeholders, not only for the shareholders. That management approach of the corporates itself has been totally changed from the shareholder approach to stakeholder approach. So these are all the messages you have to understand. And with respect to the current happenings in the global business, tariff war. She said about tariff war, what has happened, and how it is shaking the whole world. So there are barriers. While studying the international business, you would have seen tariff barriers, the tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers categories are there. And what are they? Every aspect you have to go in depth and understand. Don't make a peripheral knowledge. Since I was a faculty earlier in international business, for long years, I am proud of saying that we only introduced first time in the South India international business at Adagappa University, Karaikudi. So there I used to take class for IB students for a long time. My batch students are they are well placed across the globe. Even we used to have meet once in a year in the form of alumni meeting. Every batch will conduct alumni meet. We used to meet there. So the tariff are increasing, and the US and China competition all the time. So whenever competition comes, it shakes not only those two countries, it shakes the entire world. Because the whole world in the global business, the business environment is highly integrated. When the environment is highly integrated, definitely we can enjoy both. We can enjoy the benefit as well as we will be facing the shocks also, global shocks. So for which we have to equip ourselves how to face the global shocks. Then supply chains are changing. Supply chains are not at all constant, and you must be ready to take up. So what is the message here? All the time, you have to have a keen observation and see that what are all the latest trend, and accordingly you have to equip yourself and fit into that. So thereby, you will be able to sustain continuously. So that is another third important situation what is prevailing in the global business, supply chain changing continuously. And AI miracle, AI is changing the global business in all possible ways, but it is not a threat, as I said. So AI can be easily controlled or managed by HI, provided when you are competent. So only mantra what I want to say you is, you have to become a competent person. That is very much essential, competent. Now, even in our school, we designed a logo. In our school, we have designed the competency, capability, and compatibility. So when you have all the three, you will be able to get into any global business institution on very many, around 10 areas I said, you can fit into any area easily and effectively. And again, not only whiling away with the same area, you have to have a wide experience, for which she has highlighted about portfolio. You have to decide your career portfolio. So once you are having career portfolio, your expertise will be increasing. Once your expertise is increasing, you will be able to administer, you will be able to guide the organization in the right perspective, you will be able to handle the different dynamics, internal dynamics of the organization, as well as able to cope up with the global shocks and constraints and manage it successfully. Thereby, you can become an industry leader, market leader. The industry leader can become the market leader like that. And the digital services are also growing, which in turn many times is the business. At the same time, all the day, always we are under threat. Everywhere, once when you think of stepping one step ahead, one step down also we have to look into. So that's why many times all developments leads to greater fall also sometime. But we must be ready to face, and able to stick on in that. And that's why, especially from the technology front, you have to understand that technology is a double-edged sword. Technology is the double-edged sword. Don't scare about the AI. No? So when you are sharpening your HI, definitely you will be able to manage it very easily. And again, don't exclusively depend on the AI only. And now even European countries, I am very fond of saying that they are coming to our way back methodology of learning things through paper, pencil, pen, notebooks they are reading. They are not typing the digital keyboards. That is slowly coming. So that means thereby our kinetic energy will become very powerful. Now we are working with the digi forces, digi energy. Digi energy makes our kinetic energy abstracted. We should not give chance for that. Digi must be a tool for us. It should not dominate us. So once when you have that thinking, definitely with the digi power and the kinetic power, you can do wonders. So a synergy you have to bring. That is why I said AI and HI synergy. So for which you have to think now. So the 2-year stay is not mere enjoyment. It is for, and you can entertain yourself at the same time. You have to sharpen your proficiency right now, and I can say then only expertise will come. Once you are getting into line, corporate services, slowly year on year, you will be getting expertise. Once you are getting expertise, you can become a general manager, you can become a vice president, you can become the CEO of a company, like that. So what is happening in India, what is currently happening in the global business, this dynamics you have to understand. And then the geopolitical also affect the situation for which what is it, how it happens. So still that 2008 or 9 crisis, that is the subprime crisis, still we are facing the heat of the problem. Even though we have crossed nearly going to cross the 2 years, the 20 years, 2 decades. No, we are facing the heat of the problem. So this is the magnitude of the challenges in the international business. But don't get scared. We have the capability to meet out all those, and that way we could survive. And the global trade, among all in the prevailing current situation, this is the current trend going on. But in spite of that, global trade is still growing. That's the message I want to say. Global trade is still growing in terms of goods trade. Now it is growing towards 13.7 trillion. Now in the first half of 2026. In the first half of 2026, it is growing to the extent of $13.7 trillion, okay, which is nearly 12.5% ahead than the last year. 25 in the year 2025 and 26, when they are comparing that. So this is the incremental growth in terms of global trade on goods is 12.5%. Similar on services, it is 10.5%. So shocks are there, but business are also flourishing. So how it happens? It happens, the people are, the corporates are very able to cope up with the challenges and changes. So that's the message you have to understand, which accordingly you have to shape yourself. How the corporate survive? Corporate survives because of you people, no, because of people like us. So for which we have to be a very proficient person, and then we have to develop our expertise year on year, and year on year expertise. That is why value addition. She said, no, value velocity. I like such a beautiful words, no? Value velocity. So the speed, velocity means speed. Now, that the speed, it should, the guy while telling about the career, she said, don't have a linear career. Okay, so you have to have the varieties, and then only your portfolio will be rich. When the portfolio is rich, you will be able to aim for a higher position. Once you know, so why you have to go higher, no? Then you can do a lot of services. No? You can prove your capabilities to the fullest extent. That is why you have to go high. So these are all the challenges. In spite of the challenges, global business is growing. So that's a message I want to tell you. And then compare it to similarly with respect to manufacturing, variety of manufacturing is taking, different models of manufacturing are going on. Normally in a textbook manner, we can say that discrete manufacturing and process manufacturing, and the job production, batch production, mass production, everything is going on under production. And the production, especially technology is the part of production, and we have crossed a different level of technology phases, and now we are in the industry 5.0 phase, we are there. So we are using AI and the cloud platform. Thereby, we are able to do miracles in designing the products. So marvels are taking place with the help of technology, and that's how manufacturing industries are able to produce the product in a very attractive manner to the customers. Because now the customers are not ready to accept the product what you are giving. So customers, they are expecting. You have to make the product as per their expectations, and then you have to deliver it on that time. So that's how time, place utility and time utility plays a vital role. Time utility and place utility prevails a vital role in the present day context apart from form utility. Form utility is always connected to the production, which can be done by men, machine, and even the advanced technologies also. But whatever it is, it has to go to people. So for on a timely basis, then only the product will have a time utility and a place utility. Once when you are able to create it, definitely we can market it well. No, we can have an edge over others very easily. So ultimately, the company, as a company, we have to gain competitive advantage. Again, when you say competitive advantage, there are different ways of gaining competitive advantage, but the most reliable route is cost advantage. Competitive cost advantage, that is what China follows, and that's why they are able to withstand. They are able to withstand all the challenges. Even America, US is also second only in the manufacturing because they are able to gain competitive cost advantage in various forms. Again, cost advantage will not come just like that. So cost advantage comes, we have to get into the cost elements, material cost, material component, labor component, other overhead components, so many things are there. In everywhere we have to introduce the strategic thinking. So there is an area, subject called strategic cost management. When you are getting into the various techniques, methodology, process available there, you will be able to get into all nuances. There you can talk about, you will be getting an value chain analysis, you will be getting just-in-time technology, you will be able to get into 360-degree performance. So many, then how to get into the backflush costing. So by applying various costing techniques, they are able to reduce the cost, and that's why they are able to gain advantage, competitive cost advantage, and with which their products are prevailing in the global market. That is from the manufacturing point of view. And coming to the quality design, as I said, the sustainability and innovation, as I said, sustainability is like a salt now. Every industry should work for it. Should work for ensuring sustainability, because our existence itself is questionable. Unless otherwise, we have the attitude of ensuring sustainability in all possible ways. In all possible ways. Sustainability meeting today's needs without damaging the ability of future generations to meet their needs. So for which we are using the resources carefully, reduces the pollutions, protect the nature, think in a long-term perspective. But of late, from the human side, the human resource side, I am telling that every one of us wanted to get benefit, immediate benefit, short-term benefits. This is small, the individual thinking, it creates a big havoc. Join together, create a big havoc. That is why it has to start from individual, start from me, start from you. When it starts, the thinking starts, definitely sustainability could be realized. Even though UNESCO has targeted 2030 is the period to achieve the sustainable development goal. Again, as usual, what is happening in India, judiciary system, we used to get Vaida, so we have to get Vaida. So it will maybe extended to 2050. 2050, that definitely we have to. Otherwise, there is a chances for big global damage. So that way, the earth may not be conducive for living. Sir, we are finding out alternative space there. In the space, we are find out the moon to survive. So we'll go over there. Don't think like that. To work for preserving it. So when you are thinking that, definitely sustainability will be the order of the day, and which in turn helps a lot by means of balancing the three, that is environment, economy, and society. Environment, economy, and society, and it is very easy to tell, but it is very difficult to bring. So for which a kind of concerted effort is very much essential, thereby sustainability will be a reality. Then I showed about innovations. Innovation is not only in the form of bringing new products, it starts from new ideas, new technique, new technology, better processes, better products and services, efficiency improvement, and so on. Efficiency improvement, that is again correlated with the human resources, with ourselves. Okay, efficiency. Efficiency, many times we talk about others, we talk about other factors of production, machinery and other things. But what about labor efficiency, labor productivity? So productivity of labor is very much essential. And again, from the Indian context, I am very particular to say that the labor productivity in India is very less. So that we have to augment. So that augmentation can be done only from our attitude only. So once we have the right attitude, definitely we will be able to deliver our best productivity. I used to ask a question, what is productivity? What's productivity? What is the simple formula for productivity? P equal to? Anyone? P equal to? Hey, you are sitting here whole day. No? What will be the productivity for you? That also you have to ask. But the productivity P equal to? Come on, O by I. P equal to O by I. No? O by I. How about the results? How about that result? It should be greater than 1 or less than 1 or equal to 1? Greater than 1. No? If it is greater than, it will be good, no? It is applicable for all factors of production. Land productivity, labor productivity, capital productivity, technology productivity, time productivity, whatever it is, we have to work for increase in the productivity. So once productivity increases in all forms, automatically efficiency will be improved. And once the efficiency is improving, organizational effectiveness will come. It all connected with the behavioral aspects only. That is why there is a need for big behavioral change among the human resources, and thereby we will be able to deliver our best. From the organizational context, organizational effectiveness will be a reality. So this is from the sustainability point of view. And this innovation and the sustainability, even after witnessing COVID, no, it must be the reality. It is highly imperative. Both of them are imperative. Innovation and sustainability should go hand in hand. Innovation and sustainability should go hand in hand. Many a time people are working for making innovation for doing innovation for making money. No, not only that, you can make money, no harm in it. At the same time, you have to see that my innovative idea, innovative product, innovative technology should not harm the society, should not harm the environment. So that thinking you have to have. That is how now even the Gen Z people are very holistic thinking from that perspective. Very holistic thinking from that perspective. Thereby, I strongly feel that in another 5 to 10 years, definitely this synergy between innovation and sustainability will take place. Take place at a higher degree. Synergy between innovation and sustainability will be there. Again, people are asking you to innovate, and automatically you will be the consumers also. You must be ready to cope with the changes and challenges in that. So with that mindset, when you are approaching your curriculum, and even as in the Board of Studies also, we are involving student participation, even alumni also we are involving. Accordingly, we will be able to transform our syllabus and curriculum so as to suit to the global requirements. Thereby, definitely your career will be the brightest one in our campus, and with which you can fly colorfully across the globe. This is a message what I want to say through this address. I am not in a position to tell a specific thematical address on a particular area. In fact, of my ill health, I am just speaking with you. And this is a message first you have to understand. First, you have to have a thorough understanding about the theme of the seminar at least, no? And how it is being nicely done. So global business is highly needed. And how manufacturing, again, continuously essential. We cannot stop manufacturing. There is no saturation for manufacturing. And again, because the people taste and preferences are changing, so we have to go for different variety of products, different dimensions of products, different scaling. No? So all such things we have to do. So how to scale up the production? Also continuous R&D has to take place in that. So that all about the size. Because once the world is growing and enlarging, not only in terms of population, but also all the kind of the species, and definitely we have to pave the way for it. And then at the same time, we have to work for ensuring sustainability and innovation also. So that's the thing. For which, again, what you have to have is, we have to have a mindset that the cross-border perspective thinking. Once when we have a cross-border perspective thinking, definitely we will be able to penetrate very easily. When you say cross-border perspective, again here I want to tell 3 important points. Cross-border perspectives. What is cross-border perspective? Territorial perspective, functional perspective, and relational perspective. So these are the 3 major areas of the cross-border perspective. Okay. When you say global business, necessarily we have to cross the border and do the business. That's a mandatory. No? So perspective thinking. So the thinking may be mainly in 3 dimensions. You can create 4th dimension, 5th dimension. There is no choice. No? It's just 3 dimensions I am mentioning you. Territorial perspective, then functional perspective, and then relational perspectives. No? That is why bilateral contract, multilateral contract, and the boot contract models. All such models are coming up in the business. No? Boot model. Have you heard about the word concept boot? B-O-O-T? B-O-O-T. Turnkey model. And again, production, nowadays the companies don't want to produce in a large scale for a long time because the technology is getting outdated. So people preference will be changing. So that's why the manufacturing size is also being reduced. And then they are adopting the methodology of outsourcing. Again, outsourcing has created again big, it's a good one way. On the other hand, it created a big shock also in the form of gig workers. Strategic alliances can be made for a short-term period, long-term, mid-period, as well as mid-term, as well as the long-term also. And then the knowledge and sharing is taking place across the globe, especially technology collaborations. No? Technology collaborations are taking place in many countries. Even India is very much inviting Japan and give a lot of the bullet train project and the other thing. So technology, and we are getting earlier, we used to get scientists from Russia and so as to build our rockets and all. Now we are making wonders in rocket launching and missile launching. And this is how India has developed over a period of years very aggressively. No? But somehow or other we missed the bus. So that's why that a 20-year gap exists compared to the developed nation. Now we are working for the goal of 2047, which is a Viksit Bharat. That Viksit Bharat will be a developed nation. And again, there will also be some other changes. The challenges will come in some other form. But we must be ready to face that. So with these few words, once again, I am very happy and extend my hearty greetings to the department once again. And my special thanks to our own brand, our own university colleague, Dr. Bhushan Sudhakar, who is the brand ambassador of Indo-German project. And he is a man of action, and he is one of the strong pillars of the Department of International Business. And above all, I am proud to say that he is the alumni of our university. And when alumni is shining, we feel proud of it. So in that way, my special thanks to him, and as well as all the department colleagues. They are cooperating him in making the program very into a reality. And above all, it's a great opportunity for the students to listen to the big experts. Nearly 6 expert lectures are arranged. I don't know to encourage in that. And again, when you go through the theme of the lecture, every topic is very much needed. Now, every topic is very much needed. So, knowingly or unknowingly, or willfully or accidentally, you have chosen the course. Okay? And now, hereafter, at least develop interest. Read the course program, undergo the program with full of involvement and passion. Thereby, you can rule the world. I used to tell, cost rule the world. That is how China is told the example now. It is because of competitive cost advantage. When you are getting into that, definitely you can have plenty of opportunities to enjoy. Wish all the best. Thank you one and all for your patient listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that elaborate points which you have given to us. We would like to give a bouquet. Shreya will offer a small bouquet to sir. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor is viewing online, all of us. So thank you, sir, for watching us online. At the same time, we are trailing by about 25 minutes, and we will continue. I know that you need a break, but we have 2 felicitation addresses. They'll be finishing quickly. Now I request Ms. Antoinette to come forward and share her thoughts.
A very good morning, or good afternoon, should I rather say. Yes. I take this opportunity to thank the Department of International Management from Puducherry University for giving us this, felicitating this early career research day here. The entire team, thank you, sir, and my other guests and speakers of the day, and the students for listening patiently. I have a dedicated session afterwards which talks about research opportunities in Germany. Right now, just a small introduction of what DAD is and what DAD does. DAD stands for German Academic Exchange Service. In German, it's Deutsche Akademischer Austauschdienst. It is one of the biggest funding organizations, right, in the world. And apart from funding, offering fundings and grants, they work towards the internationalization of German higher education institutions and German language across the globe, right? And we facilitate like conferences or workshops like this with the help of our DAD research ambassadors. So we have 2 research ambassadors today, one from Pondicherry University, Professor Dr. Bhushan Sudhakar, and one from IIT Tirupati, Dr. Pondicherry Mariyappan. So we have 25 such research ambassadors from DAD. Right? DAD India takes care of the region of Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. So we have information centers in India within Pune, Bangalore, and Chennai. That's where I'm from. So we have an information center, one in Colombo and Dhaka as well. So DAD New Delhi takes care, that's a regional office. It takes care of all the operations and funding opportunities of this specific region. So as I'll talk to you about the research opportunities later in my dedicated session, and we are running behind schedule, so thank you once again. We'll see you back.
Dr. Panchaksharam Mariyappan sir, professor at IIT Tirupati, my fellow colleague as DAD Research Ambassador. So please come forward and please offer your felicitation.
almost it's afternoon, so everyone will be hungry. So good afternoon, everyone. So Dad usually organizes these kinds of workshops every year. So I to be part of various teams. Like I'm a mathematician by profession, but I also offer many of these artificial intelligence, data science related things. So we always Dad request us to combine 2-3 themes together and then put it as a Dad research yearly career research day and other thing. So one of the things I noticed today is that like you are going to talk about global business, manufacturing, sustainability and innovation. Except the manufacturing and the sustainability, I don't have any other ideas here. Okay, but still like we try to organize that. But I just want to say a few words. Like most of the time, the speakers were trying to panic you about the artificial intelligence is going to take the job. Okay, so it may not be always true. Like your dean said, like human intelligence is also going to be there, which is true because there are mostly the classified jobs will be taken care by the AIs, but there are so many unclassified jobs are there in the world which will not be taken by the AI. So don't get panicked by this one. Okay, so we will be surviving together with the AI. And with these few words, I just thank you once again and enjoy the conference. Thank you.